World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Yana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
Hello, and welcome once again to another fantastic Tuesday where your host, your dressed down CEO of Leverage Credit Recovery, is pleased to welcome you to a brand new year, a brand new generation, a brand new opportunity for anyone out there who really wants to now take their financial understanding to that next level, to that ultimate level of success. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so proud, I am so honored, I am so blessed to be doing what I do, and I am just excited about the opportunities that are now in front of us. And I'm going to be talking about a lot of these things as we go from this day to the next day to the next day, and I'm asking all of you, make time. Make time. I want you to add that hashtag to every place that you put a hashtag on it. I want you to start making time, but it's all about make time. Because we're too busy out there trying to find time, and that's not going to happen. 10 years ago, I came back to Yonkers, New York, and I came back with one thing in mind, was to help adults get get a financial understanding about their credit. Over that 10 years, I've come to learn a lot of things. Within that 10 years as well, I became an academics professional, someone who's in these schools already teaching, already educating the young minds. And during that time, while I've been able to evaluate my circumstances, not just my own circumstances, but evaluate where I've come from and how I've been learning and all of the opportunities that have been presented to me. I am one of the most blessed individuals out there, one of the most humblest, one of the most important when it comes to this subject matter that we're getting ready to introduce and that I've been introducing to you on other shows. I want us to start taking our financial literacy understanding serious. If we want what we want, we're going to have to do what we haven't done before, which is get out of our way and start allowing us, those professionals, those individuals who are already knocking at that door, asking you, what do you need to make sure that for the next decade, in the next 10 years, what do you need to make sure that you're going to be good? And we're here to introduce that to you. We're here to set a path, an understanding of how you can do what you need to do for you with the assistance and the help of individuals who look like you. So I'm proud to introduce our panel that we're going to have tonight, but I'm also equally proud to introduce that Yonkers Young Entrepreneurs is a 501c3, and we're going to be talking to some of our amazing board members today and we're going to be introducing our board members and letting them show you what we as a community can do and what we're willing to do. This is not a sacrifice. This is a commitment to excellence from brothers, sisters, youth of marginalized communities that have already committed themselves to the understanding of what we have to do. And I am so pleased and I am so grateful and I am so blessed to have individuals who are already on that same wavelength, not just Soul City Network, not just our producers, but some great, wonderful individuals who have given us the opportunity to share with you. And not only are we going to share with you, but we're going to help you create the financial independence, the financial stability, the financial accountability that you need to be able to navigate whatever circumstances may come. So with no more further ado, let's bring in our panel, Antonio Kenyatta, Mark Lewis, and Eugene Ellison. Hello, gentlemen. What's going on? How we doing out there?
Good evening. Pleasure to be here.
Good evening. So glad to have you. Thank you so much. And I'm always pleased to be able to bring my brothers into.
Can you hear me, Glove?
My communications, but I can hear you. Can you hear me? Gene, can you hear me? I don't think Gene can hear me.
We can hear you, Gene.
All right, cool. Thank you. How you doing?
Gene, can you hear me? Antonio, can you ask Gene if he can hear me?
Can you hear Tyrone?
No, I can't. No.
All right. Well, while we work on making sure that Gene can hear me, we're still going to keep the program going, ladies and gentlemen, because when you're doing something live, you're going to have these folks. Things of that nature. It doesn't stop. Keep moving. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Antonio.
I'm gonna come back and join back in.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask Antonio.
Something.
You can go ahead and introduce yourself, Antonio, and let the audience have a little bit of what I already know about you.
Sure. Thank you for this opportunity. It's exciting to be here. Happy New Year to everyone. My name is Antonio Kenyatta, as you can see on the screen. I am. I wear a couple of hats, and the main reason I'm excited here and be a part of this Young Entrepreneurs program is because it's getting financially free is really it's part of mindset. But at the same time, there are some tools that you need to understand how to get there. So I'm here to help impart some of those tools. And I also, am part of a technology company. And one of the things I also wanted to do is just, as Tyrone is helping build up the community and bringing people together to be able to share resources to help uplift the community, is that we work with the youth to help get them certified in various technical aspects. So regardless of whether you've gone to, and quite frankly, we just look for people who graduated from high school, whether you're in college or not, to come and become certified for free. And we offer an opportunity for those who not only become certified for free, but also to receive a stipend at the same time. So it's just, in addition to being financially free, we're offering people a chance to gain skills so that they can go out and acquire the occupations to bring home the earnings that they would like to be able to make themselves financially free. And I know we'll get into much more of that, but that's a little bit about myself and why I'm here and excited to be a part of this community.
Antonio, I want to thank you for that introduction. But Antonio, you guys don't really know like him like I know. Antonio is bright. Antonio is brilliant. Antonio is wise, savvy. He does, as he said, he wears a lot of hats. But Antonio, could you tell him what is really exciting about what you do, that fiduciary? And again, people don't know what that is, and I need more people to understand what that is and how you protect us.
Yeah, I think, thanks, Tyrone. Sometimes I guess when you're in this industry, and I've been in finance for over a couple of decades now, so I got gray hair like Tyrone. I just cut it off. But I use the term fiduciary, assuming everyone understands that. And basically, what a fiduciary is, it's someone whose the client's interest is ahead of my own personal gain. So regardless of whatever I could recommend to someone to help them improve their life, if it's not in the best interest of that client, whereas something like I could put something in and make a quick buck, I'm legally bound not to do that. That's literally, I've taken that kind of certification to say that I would not offer anything to anyone that is not in their best interest. And that's what a fiduciary is. It's someone you can trust, which is what we all want at the end of the day. Whether you're getting credit advice or you're getting medical advice or any kind of advice, you really want someone that you can trust. And being a fiduciary means I've taken the bar and raised it a little higher and said to myself and to all those who I would serve, it says, I'm legally bound by the federal government to make sure whatever I recommend to you is in your best interest over myself.
And that's what we really want our audience, not just our audience, but that's what we want every individual to understand the importance of having experts, individuals who are committed to not our success, but to your success. Because the success that we already have, we're successful. We're doing what we want more people to be able to do. So it's great to, again, have Antonio as part of our organization. And as I said, we have a couple of more individuals that are making their way to, but in the meantime, while they're getting situated and set up, me and Antonio are going to have a conversation. We're going to talk about, Antonio, can you stress to the individuals, why is it important to become financially literate?
Why is it important to become financially literate?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's not a surprise, probably to many of those who are listening, that when you think about, the biggest buzzword would be like Wall Street or something like that, where there are a lot of people who work and probably make a lot of money and have a lot of success. And many of the people that look like myself and similar shades, I would say, haven't historically had a lot of access to those environments. And what it means for us to become financially literate is that we become more knowledgeable. It's just like any skill or craft that you're in. When you understand the financial markets, when you understand credit, when you understand Wall Street, the stock market, the bond market, interest rates, how they work for you and how they can work against you in a debt scenario. Understanding these tools gives you the confidence to make good decisions. And at the same time, even more so, it allows you not to be, if I can go colloquial, to kind of be bamboozled by someone who's trying to sell you something for their own personal gain, which is really not in the best interest of yourself. And that happens throughout our communities, especially on the financial side, because, quite frankly, many of us are not literate. We're not financially astute. And so we're easily prey to doing what others have done. And just because they've done it doesn't mean it's been correct. It's just been what's been pumped into our community. And if you pump it in, people just assume, let me take a gross example, fried food. If everybody just keeps eating fried food, you just assume, hey, it's no big deal. I've been eating it. My grandmother ate it. My mother ate it. Everybody's been eating it. But it doesn't mean it's the best thing for us. And so we tend to accept what things are not. And so by becoming financially literate, we now have the ability to kind of pull back, again, using this health scenario, saying, you know what, I like fried chicken, probably like everybody else, but I'm not going to eat it every day. And I'm going to have it maybe during certain times, when I'd like to have it. But I understand the importance of what's good for me and what's not good for me. And that allows me to make educated choices so that my financial future is solid. And even more so, the financial future for my offspring or my loved ones can become solid as well.
Outstanding. Well, that's exactly why we bring the experts in, individuals who are already astute to the understandings of why we need to make sure that generations moving forward have this same understanding. And there it is. Gene's back with us. Hello, Gene. How we doing, sir?
I'm doing well today.
Excellent.
How you guys doing?
So, as we've had Antonio introduce himself, I would like you to take a few minutes to introduce yourself and let the individuals know why you believe that being part of Yonkers Young Entrepreneurs is going to be a benefit not just to you, our program, and also our youth, but you go ahead and take it from there.
Okay, first up, hello everybody. How you guys doing? My name is Gene Ellison, but Eugene Ellison, you could call me Gene. Lifetime residency in Yonkers, New York. Went to school in Yonkers, graduated from Gordon. Actually, I work at Riverside High School. I've been in the field for about 10 years working with the students. But I believe financial literacy is the key that our generations, our kids, our grandparents, our parents have missed out on. And since talking to Mr. Glover, he showed me a lot of ways. He showed me a lot of insight on what I've been missing out on as far as starting generational wealth for my family. But also what I'm strong at is talking to individuals and kind of guiding them into things that will be great for them in ways that can help them out in the future. This is new for me also, the financial literacy thing, because I have been wasting time in the community trying to give back in the wrong way as far as the sports and things of that nature. I'm a head coach at Riverside High School. I do basketball. But I've learned that that is a stop in their life where if it doesn't get past high school, then that's it for them. But I know touching on this is more of what they're looking for nowadays. They're looking for trying to spend money, save money, but in a positive way. So I think with me coming to the table, I could also bring that aspect to really reaching out to them in a way of me just communicating with them a lot more. Because I'm around them a lot. I hear their conversations. I hear what they're into. Their algorithm has changed from playing sports to trying to have money in their pocket a lot more and trying to do things for their family and not struggle as certain individuals in their family have struggled, because they're not afraid to say it. As we was as a kid, you didn't want to bring that part out and show your family. But that's what I believe is great for us. It's great for our community in Yonkers. We don't have it. And it's just, we need it. We need it. Our kids need it. Our families need it to get it done and to start this chain of great young leaders in our community. So
Okay,
I believe.
thank you. And we're going to tap into a little bit more of that. We're waiting on one more individual, and I'm sure he should be here shortly. But again, as you can see, we're looking for an eclectic group. We're looking for a group of individuals that come from a variety of different backgrounds, because our kids come from a variety of different backgrounds. We got a fiduciary expert in that financial space. We got an expert in that youth space, which is Gene, who brings a lot to, again, being able to help us grow our community from the ground up. And we're working with those. That's why it's called Yonkers Young Entrepreneurs, because we're working with those young individuals that have already shown us. And I can tell you, in 10 years of being in the academics field and space, I've seen nothing but greatness from our youth. And now it's time for us who have already been in those spaces of greatness to now start contributing and giving back. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, I'm going to throw a question at Antonio. What's the one thing that, if you had the opportunity to tell someone that, or if you could go back and tell your future or yourself, your past self, what would you tell your past self? You're muted. I think you went mute. Or is it, am I muted?
No, there you go.
No,
okay.
There
you go. How about that?
There we go. We got it.
Okay. Sorry about that. I was saying that's a great question. And I guess in the spirit of this meeting, in terms of financial literacy and and what it could take. I mean, there's so many valuable areas here, but I think at the core of it, and I think we all know someone that we could touch. And I would say, really, it's really what the science says on the top header here. It says leverage credit. I don't think in the same thing, we grow up understanding what is our credit, what is our credit history, what is our credit score. What are interest rates? How does that work for us? How does that work against us? And so, if I could go back with the knowledge I have, and I'd love to be able to take Brother Glover with me with the same knowledge. So if I could get a Brother Glover coming out of high school who would say, hey, this is what you need to understand about your credit. This is what you need to understand about interest rates and things of that nature, because it's really the foundation of your whole financial life. Because you're going to get credit cards, you're potentially going to get loans, whether it's for a car or a home. You're potentially going to get, well, not potentially, hopefully, actually, as you start working, you'll start investing in your financial future with a 401k or an IRA or things of that nature, or a pension fund. So understanding all that builds off understanding interest rates and credit, and understanding the power that you hold in that, so that as you become knowledgeable of it, and I say this to kind of pull over to the side for a second to say that many people don't understand it, and that's why many people kind of do damage to their credit in the beginning. And so now that it has to go into a bit of repair, and even in that repair, they still don't fully understand it. So I think the answer to your question is to get a solid understanding of my credit, because with that, I understand the basis of a lot of things that I'm going to go into eventually, even more so in my life. The understanding my credit score, how to maintain it, how to look at it, and how to get it as high as possible is probably the best advice I could give myself. As I say, if I was a high school student coming out into the work world or the college world, either way, that would be the number one advice I give myself then.
Outstanding. Gene, you got the same question. What would you tell your past self if you could go back and say, hey, self, what's up?
Pretty much I would tell myself the long goal, also, like the long goal of not spending your money right now, buying things, buying the material things, buying the gold, buying the jewelry. I wish I would have known about what I know a little bit about now, like what you're explaining about the credit and everything. I would have put more into that and to my future of putting away and investing that money instead of flashing it and thinking that was the thing to do. So pretty much I would do the same thing, look at my credit, and also tell myself, invest your money. Invest it. You could invest it in Pepsi. You could invest it in anything else besides some chains that you didn't put in a pawn shop and ain't get back. So that would have been me.
It is funny that you say that, because that's what we've been talking about a lot. Can you imagine all the missed opportunities that we, over the course of our now being gray under the chin and being a little bit less on the top, can you imagine if we would have started putting some of that resources into that, where we could potentially be, where we could already be, not potentially, because we've talked about it quite some time, which is Black Wall Street. We talk about primarily that one. We all know about Tulsa, Oklahoma. But for you who don't know, there was over 100 Black Wall Streets. And our job now is to recreate what our ancestors has already given us. They've already told us, hey, brothers and sisters, we know you can do this. We know you can still follow in our footsteps. So stop doing whatever it is that you got complacent with, and whatever it is that you thought was another pathway. Stop doing it and get back on this right track. And we are here to make sure that we're doing that. So thank you very much for your input on that question. But now I got another one. I got a whole bunch of them, and they're going to keep popping up. Why do you believe, and Gene, you start off with this one first. Why do you believe they took financial literacy out of the academic facilities when it comes to marginalized communities?
I believe they took it out because they wanted to keep certain people in certain places. If you allow people, a minority, to have power along with their fear of us having power, then that means the dynamic of the world changes. It means it's an even playing field. You have to look at a person of minority with respect because they have the same thing that you have, and they've gotten it the same way that you've gotten it. So pretty much of that, that's what I believe. You have to, how can I put it? Just do what you have to do when it comes to financial literacy. Like it's just get back to me because I'm gonna start rambling.
I love putting people on the spot because it shows that vulnerability, but it shows that passion that's still there, that you really are engaged and you really want to make sure that everybody's getting that perfect understanding of how and what we should be doing. Antonio, I'm throwing that back at you. Why do you believe we removed financial literacy out of our academic communities, or out of our academic facilities?
Thank you. I'm going to say two things about it. One, I agree with what Gene said, and I want to I appreciate his personal statement about just from the prior question. If I could take a second on that and say, hey,
please.
Rather than put it in cars and gold and whatever you put it in, whatever's your fancy, it's okay to do that because that's living life. But put a portion of the way into the market, you, just as Gene is saying and Brother Glover is saying, you won't regret it. Now, in terms of financial literacy not being in the market, let me say this too. I agree with what Brother Gene just said as well. But let me say this as well to kind of even zoom out a little bit more for everyone. In the United States of America, we have, you're all familiar with Wall Street, and we have people who are licensed, like myself, to talk to people about securities. What most people don't know is that less than 1% of Americans are licensed to do that. Now, you can go in a barbershop and get your shoes shined, and somehow give you a good tip, but that person's not licensed. So it's just like going to that same person and asking them about, hey, I got some pain in my back. What should I do? It may be good advice, but it may not be the best advice. So my point in that only less than 1% of Americans are licensed to do that means that it's not just people who look like myself who don't have this knowledge. The majority of people do not have this knowledge. And so I would say that to answer the Brother Glover's question is twofold. One, I think it's greedy. People are greedy because if you're ignorant, I can tell you, hey, your stomach doesn't feel good, go take a teaspoon of sugar in some hot water and you'll feel good in the morning. Maybe that worked for me, but doesn't mean it's good medical advice. So I think it's part greedy, and at the same time, I want to say it's ignorance, because I'm a firm believer, and this is why I'm here supporting Brother Glover in this program and all of you who are listening to the sound of my voice, is that I'm a firm believer that if I'm strong financially and you're strong financially and everyone else is strong financially, we live, in what you might want to call heaven. Because if you're strong financially, you're probably going to be taking good care of yourself health-wise. You're probably going to be very literate about what you read. You're probably going to be more conscientious about things. So I'm of the believer that it's greed, but at the same time, it's ignorance. Because if I'm in good health and you're in good health and I'm financially stable and you're financially stable, I think we're in a pretty good environment.
I would definitely agree. So again, I got more. I'm going to take a second to, again, bring in the next thing that I'm going to be sharing with the audience. And that is, I write now. I write for a article or a new platform that just popped up, and it's called Substack. And I am so pleased to be able to do the things that I am able to do. And that's why I always go back to now sharing with, there you are, sharing with everyone. And I'm asking everyone, if you can hear me, to now start thinking about where we are getting our content from. Because there's a plethora of content providers out there. and they're going to be throwing stuff our way on a regular basis. And I just want us to make sure that we're getting value from our content, value from the individuals that are presenting to you, and make sure that you yourself can go back and you can research to double check. Don't just believe everything coming out of somebody's mouth, because unfortunately that's what got us into these predicaments to begin with, because we thought 401ks. Again, I'm not demeaning, I'm not going after anyone, I'm not trying to make any industry or any profession seem like, oh, they're attacking us. No, because trust me, we want everybody. We want to work with all of you. But we're going to definitely focus on making sure that our communities of color, marginalized youth, have what they need as we move forward. So with that being said, you can all see that I have my Substack. And Substack is just a small little platform that allows for me to dive in and share some great stuff. And over the year, I've had over 120 articles that I put out. I have about 170 something still in the demo. I mean, not in the demo, but in the it's called the when you don't complete something, what is it called again? The drafts. Yes, in the drafts, just sitting there waiting. So it's really, as I said, it's really an important thing that I make sure that all of us understand moving forward. We got to share our content. Why is it important for us to share our content? Antonio, I'm going to throw that one at you.
Well, I think sharing your content and taking in a diverse amount of information allows you, what I always say is that none of us can think outside of our own head. And so the only way to, again, become more financially literate, to understand my credit better, is I need to take in new information. And as I take in that information, I'll be able to now add another tool to my repertoire. So as information comes at me, I have another filter to say, is that good information? Is that bad information? Does that make sense? It doesn't make sense. And that's what content gives you. It gives you the ability to say, okay, hold on, I can check this. And when you can is when you often are unfortunately taken advantage of.
Thank you, Gene. I'm going to throw it back in. I'm sorry.
Everything okay?
I think we lost the volume. Antonio, we lost your mic again.
Did you?
I can.
There you are. You're back.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm here. I think you were throwing the question at Gene.
Yeah, I'm going to throw that same question back at you, Gene. Why is it important for our community to make sure that that they know where they can get valued content from?
It's in the same content of he said, sharing is what gets out, and with us sharing our information to our community, which pretty much lacks that avenue of the financial status and helping themselves. So we're people that, like you said, can reference check, they can back check what they just heard or what they believe, and we have a platform to show them, is half the battle. And that's pretty much what Yonkers is let me see first. Let me see. Oh, okay. All right, there's something on it, so now I could go into it. So if it's there for them to see, then their eyes can open up more into believing it, because, like he said, we can't think outside our box. We have to see, oh, that looks like it's a good idea. Now they can do their little research with the computers. Now they can punch in a couple of letters, and everything is there for them. So being that we're able to do that in our community, get it out faster, it's faster than word of mouth, and pretty much that.
Well, we're definitely going to be using all avenues. We're going to be definitely using all avenues. Social media as oh my God, it's important. It's disturbing. It's all of the above. When you really think about it, it has done some good and it has done some harm. But we're going to make sure that as we move forward, that our content is, as I said, of value. We're going to be reaching out to even more than just the two that you have here, to equally share in that writing aspect, because I would love for Antonio, I know again is bright and brilliant, Gene equally as bright and brilliant. I know that you guys have a lot that you could equally add to that content, and we're definitely going to be touching on that as well. But one of the things that I always want to make sure that I add moving forward is, can either one of you, doesn't matter whom, can you tell the audience the difference between finding time and making time?
Go ahead, Gene.
Finding time and making time. Finding time, I believe you don't really, is not really interested in doing the goal that's in front of you. Making time for the goal is something that you want. You want it, you believe in it. So it's something that you're going to go all the way out for because it's something you want. You're going to make that time for it instead of, it'll be all right. But when you make time for something that you want, you're going to put everything else to the side and do what you have to do for that.
Antonio, piggyback off of that.
Yeah, I agree. I think what Gene is saying is desire. Like if you desire a relationship, you make time to communicate with that person. And so desiring it, to go further, what Gene is saying is that we all have the same 24 hours, what I say, right? And, the way I kind of, spoke with my children to kind of answer it this way is like, when you look in one community and you look at another community, what's the real difference with those people? Some are wealthier, some are not as wealthy. And sometimes they'll look at me puzzled, like, what is the difference? And I would say it's what they do with their time. So I can spend, 4 hours in the gym, and I'm going to probably be pretty strong and look pretty muscular after that. Or I could maybe split some of that time and spend 2 hours in the gym and 2 hours cracking the books, so that I look good and I've got a lot of good things in my head, so that I can get the best of both worlds. So making time is taking advantage of what you have to get you as far as you want to go and where you want to be in life.
And my thing when it comes to that is equally, as Antonio and both Gene have said, is we have no other choice. We have no other choice. We have no other choice. We can continue to keep trying to find time. And if there's anybody out there who has the magic understanding of finding, please let me know, because I want to invest in you. I want to take everything that I have and I want to definitely put it into whatever it is that you have learned to find time, because I haven't found it yet. I haven't. I know that I have to make time for everything that I'm doing. And now moving forward, I'm going to make sure that I see a return. So a lot of people don't even know about ROI. ROI, return on your investment. We're finding time to not get that full return. But when we start making that time, watch what's going to happen with that ROI. Your return is going to be bountiful. It's going to be plentiful. That you're going to be able to realize, wow, really? This is what life is supposed to be when we dedicate, when we commit time to certain things. And it's like, Gene, I'm sure, when you're out there on that court with them young men and you're telling them, hey, you want to be part of this team, what are you going to have to do?
Make time.
To make that time. I'm sure Antonio, clients, and you're looking at them clients and you're saying, hey, you want a better opportunity at increasing whatever it may be. I know your initiative that you have with the technology. Again, you can't just tell those individuals, well, you just show up whenever you want to. What are you more or less emphasizing to them? What are they going to have to do?
Yeah, I think also too, just to kind of take this another step forward, especially as the hair color changes, it's not only about making time, but it's getting leverage out of your time. And I use it in an example like this. I don't know too many people after a day's work, they come home after they receive their salary and think, man, I got all that money for what I did. Most people are saying, man, I didn't get enough. And so, as I say, as the hair color changes or the hair starts to fade away, you want to be able to get more out of your time. So you want to have that example. I'm making a joke out of it. you're getting more of what you put in. And figuring out how to do that is by attending a podcast like this and understanding about your credit, understanding about your finances, so that you're, and simply put, the way I describe it to clients is like, how many people go to work and get to put their feet up all day, and then at the end of the day go home? And nobody, right? Very few. Even the people who are at the top still work hard. So I say to them, so if you work hard, how hard should your money work? Now, is your money sitting around with his feet up? Or is your money sweating because it is working its tutu off to make you more? Right. And most people have the money with their feet up. And so making time to understand finance, understand credit is important so that you can get your money working for you. Because if it's not working for you, I can tell you a little secret. It's working for somebody else.
Amen to that. Amen to that, because it is. Money works hard, and unfortunately, we don't know how hard it should be working for us. So absolutely. So really, tonight, everybody, walk away with that understanding of you have to be committed. You have to be resolute. You have to want this more than anything, because I'm telling you, within the next decade, and the only reason why I keep saying decade is because I've had enough time here in Yonkers, 10 years, to realize we are not being serviced properly by neither one of these parties. And we, again, not from our employers, because our employers have pretty much said, gentlemen, ladies, this is all you're getting. This is it. This is it. The federal government has said $7.25 is it. 21 states, the minimum wage went up, but did it go up in New York? No. Because we got that little bit of stipend that we were supposed to be getting. It's still right there, that 18 to 21, depending on where you work in whichever city or county or however that plays out. But nevertheless, this is it. Your employer is equally looking you in the face and saying, what? That's it. And if you keep knocking on that door too much, that employer may look at you and say, well, we don't need you because we can hire someone less for what you're doing. And that's the intimidating part that I want everybody to really start thinking about. Wow, is that how we are being seen in our society? That we're just right there and that's it? So that means you really have to understand how money works. And now I'm going to steal that line from my good dear friend, and she will be on the program at one point as well, and I'm sure she's probably watching right now, Dr. Yana B. Knowing How Your Money Works. How money works. She's got 2 great books out there, one for the gentleman or one for the overall community. She has another one out there for just the women, and she's bringing something else out or in the next couple of, next couple of months or even at the end of this year. But we all have to make sure that we're upping also those who do great and wonderful things. And I always have to include Anaj Enterprise and also her show also on this very same channel or station, which is Soul City Network. And also equally, it's called Access Wealth Nation. So I'm sure you gentlemen, I will definitely pass on your information to her so she can bring you into her program so we can continue to keep, again, bringing this narrative of change to our community. But I want to go back to the article. And I like to piggyback off of, phrases and things. One of the phrases that I like to piggyback off is the State of Our Union. So why financial literacy matters. I'm going to take a minute to read this. We live in a world where trillion-dollar economies thrive, where homelessness grows, where the wealthy create new tiers of affluence while working families struggle with living wages. Oath takers betray constitutional norm, and systemic inequalities remain entrenched. The urgency of financial literacy has never been greater. This isn't just about balancing budgets or maintaining credit. It's about creating a future where financial stability and generational wealth are accessible to all. Financial literacy must move beyond being a buzzword to becoming a core component of education, business, and household discussions. Gentlemen, elaborate on that. Would you agree, or could you add something more to where we equally need to be pressing that issue. I know financial literacy, as I said, that's my number 2, and I'll talk about my number 1. But if anyone wants to elaborate a little bit more on that.
Yeah, I guess I'll kind of start. It's having been in finance for quite some time, I would say my first realization to what Brother Glover is saying in terms of financial literacy and conversation at the home is I remember when I was in college and I went home with a classmate for Thanksgiving, and I was there and he was talking with his dad, and they spent a lot of time just talking about the stock market, and I said to myself, it's like, that's odd. We're here for Thanksgiving. We should be like laughing and joking and having fun, because that's what I'm used to seeing in my household, right? People laugh and joke and have fun and do things. And they were talking about investing. They were talking about acquiring real estate. They were talking about stocks that he had recently bought. And I found that odd. But obviously today I look back on it and say, oh my God, what a difference my life would be, as we started off in a prior question, that if I had this financial literacy conversation in my household with, it was my mom, or any of my uncles or anyone, if I would have had these kind of conversations, even going back to what Brother Gene said, stop wearing it and invest in it, how much different would our life be? So I think that having those conversations really opens our eyes, and it's like content. It really helps us see the world differently and understand, opportunity, and be able to take advantage of that opportunity.
And we have to. We will continue to accept uncertainty and struggle if we do not. Or we will embrace the opportunities to build a stable, secure financial foundation. Gene, touch on that. Struggle or building a foundational understanding that's going to be worthy.
Pretty much that's what it is. The financial literacy, the groundwork of just the knowing and the understanding of what to come and what you should have and what you should be doing. Because after all, like he said, we needed to have these conversations when we're younger. Point blank and period. Like you said, it's just going in my head, like the laughing and the family time, but there was no, what are you guys gonna do with the future? Like, you guys got anything planned? It was just the moment, everything at the moment. So to have conversations as a kid and at the dinner table about income, stocks, investing your cash is important. I think, like he said, it's very important.
I have 2 individuals that over the last 10 years, I've really been kind of looking at going, wow, I wish I had these brothers in my life when, they were in my life. It's just that as most people don't, they may know, if you've watched the show, I'm a foster child. I grew up into different foster homes and really didn't get that understanding of, and obviously, again, some of that was my own doing, because as a child, you don't know no better unless somebody has instilled in you the understanding of being and doing better. But as a foster child, you can somehow see that sometimes that drifts to the wayside. But nevertheless, I have 2 individuals in my life today that I am so grateful for, and one of them is my Uncle Bob. And again, someone who has navigated his way through that space, through those trials and tribulations that comes with being African American. And another one is my Uncle Raymond, who also equally has done some of the most amazing things when it comes to not only himself, but also how he has raised his children to make sure that they are also financially literate, not illiterate, but literate and astute to the nuances of. And again, Uncle Bob, who has made sure that not only did his business thrive, but he also instilled into his children the same understanding. Can you give me somebody in your life who you would say has made an impact in your financial understanding?
I could say I would say my stepfather. Stepfather kind of showed me the way of putting money away and taking care of a household. He came in, I was probably about 13. And when he came in, I noticed the main thing I noticed was that there was always, every Friday, there was money on the counter, on the dresser, on my mother's dresser. So as I gotten older, I asked, I was like, Mom, what's this money for? It's here every Friday. And as the year goes on, it just goes up and it goes up. So my mom was telling me, well, son, that's the money that your stepfather gives for us for the rent every week. So he showed me pretty much that if you're gonna take over a household, you have to be prepared, financially prepared, mentally prepared to go into a household with 3 kids you don't know, and being able to show them, because obviously their dad isn't around, to show them what it is to go to work, get up and go to work, come back and make sure your household is taken care of. And that's pretty much the main important thing, that your house is taken care of. You have a roof over your head, you have food to eat, you have shelter. Without that, I think I would have still been in the mindset of wanting to live a single life. Because, seeing your single mother and she's on her own, and it's like, you don't want to be that person to have the kids and then just to disappear. But for him to come in and take over the household showed that financial part of it is the main thing, and the love that you will get is it goes even further, because you're stepping up to show kids that you don't even own. You don't have to. You didn't have to. You could have came in and did what you wanted. But I appreciate him the most out of everything.
Antonio, I want you to answer the same question, but I want to give it up to all of the single parents out there, those pulling double duties. Obviously, you guys, again, that for me is amazing. We have to start by building legacies in our homes. Thank you. And this is Dr. Yana B. All of you who are seeing that comment, this is that brilliancy of this young lady right here. Amazing. It starts with foundations, but it has to be addressed. It has to address the children and adults at the same time. You couldn't have said it better. Thank you so much, Yana, for that. Understanding that, again, women are going to bring to the understanding as well. This is a community of like-minded, smart, brilliant, bright, talented individuals that have already navigated that space. And now we want to make sure that everybody else who looks like us equally has the same opportunities. So I always want to shout out those parents who are doing double duties. We got you. We understand it. And also never want to forget the parents who have made sure that those unions that they've created, they last, and that they're still doing what they need to be doing. But go ahead, Antonio.
Yeah, let me say this is sort of my final comment. I think it goes back to college, I would say, maybe even before college. I remember, because I was always genuinely inquisitive, and I had an uncle who gave me some financial advice. And he said, hey, you should buy these bonds. Bonds aren't the best thing to buy for long-term growth, but hey, what do I know? I didn't know. He was more savvier than me. He was wealthier than I was, and he was kind of a father figure. So I bought some bonds. And it didn't turn out to be a bad thing, because when I was in college and when I got out, they had matured, and I had a lot of money to help pay down my student loans. So my uncle was a very important person in my life to say, hey, you should be looking into the stock market, and here's a way to sort of take advantage of it. So that I would say he was someone that really was instrumental in me just kind of tapping my toes into understanding the financial market and what it can do for me in my future.
And this is why we're having this conversation. This is exactly why. Oh, did I? Oh, no. Okay. My apologies. This is why we're having that conversation, to make sure that individuals understand you don't do this on your own. You don't do this on your own. You do this with that understanding of those who have instilled in you proper knowledge. And you're going to make mistakes along the way, folks. So I'm telling you now, get out of your own way. Don't think for a second that everything is going to turn. And once you start getting into this, it's going to be the flowers and all of the beauty that comes with this. No, this is a journey. This is not a sprint. It's a marathon. I think that's what I was looking for. And the more that we understand that as we work collectively together and do what we need to do, we're going to have what we need to have. And I can't thank Antonio. I can't thank Gene. I know we missed Mark. Hopefully in our next broadcast, we're going to be introducing more of our board members. So these two individuals that we brought into the show today are part of Yonkers Young Entrepreneurs. And all we're doing is we're laying the blueprint to change. We're attempting to make sure that everyone understands there's something out there for you. There's someone out there that you need to be connecting with. And 3 of us are right here right now today. We're not just working on one entity. I'm proud to say that we're reintroducing Leverage Your Score right here on Soul City Network. And you can find it on YouTube. You can find it on Instagram, not Instagram, but you can find it on Facebook. You can find our show on a variety of different channels out there. Soul City Network is on Verizon. It's on Fire TV, Roku. We are out there doing some amazing things, and I always got a big up Jasmine as well as Matt for all the excellence that they bring to the table when it comes to producing this show and all the other great content shows that are already on that platform. Not only are we reintroducing Leverage Your Score, we're also talking about, as Antonio mentioned earlier, credit is king. Understanding the power of credit as a financial tool for growth. But one of those elements that I'm going to be talking about is making sure that you understand day trading rules the world. Now, I know that's a controversial subject matter, a controversial topic, but as I say with anything, if you're going to learn something, you're going to have to get skilled at it. And once you get skilled at it, you're going to have to master it. We are so pleased, again, exploring the financial opportunities available in modern markets. Day trading, don't run from it, run to it. Because when you know how that works, how that really, just like if you wanted to be a baseball player, a soccer player, a hockey player, whether you're switching careers, that's all skills-based understanding that you have to learn. And it's not taking away from any of those other understandings. As with everything, there's risk. And if you risk, or if you manage your risk properly, guess what you're going to have? You're going to have the understanding of how that works to your benefit versus to your demise. And also equally, as you already know, Yonkers Young Entrepreneurs, which is our new nonprofit organization. And this is why these gentlemen are here today, showcasing how faces, places, spaces, and races shapes the future of entrepreneurship. And Dr. Yana added another comment. We have to make and build. We have to make building wealth exciting. We also have to get out of our poverty mindset. That is brilliant. Absolutely. Absolutely. And we're going to do whatever we need to do to keep the excitement within this conversation. So we're going to be asking everyone, make that time. Go out there, share our hashtag, share this content, give your inner circles, your priorities, where they be in that household or outside, whatever it is that you and however you're communicating with whomever you're communicating, make this a priority. And we'll keep it exciting along with you keeping it exciting inside wherever dynamic that you're working in. Don't forget about the understandings that we're bringing. We're also pleased to announce as well that Riverside High School right here in Yonkers, New York, has given us now our second year of creating a financial literacy investment club. So we can't thank the boards. We can't thank enough of the individuals who already understand the importance of what we bring to the table. And we are super excited about, as I said, the next opportunity. So ladies and gentlemen, we're building the gap together. Our youth in marginalized communities are our greatest asset, and their success hinges on equipping them with the knowledge and the skills to thrive. educators, CEOs, executive directors, activists, and advocates are uniting to fill the void left by households, academia, and governance. I always want to reemphasize governance, not government, because government wants to do the right thing. But unfortunately, those individuals within that structure of government have seen greed, power, and control and profit over people, which we need to make sure that they understand they work for us and we don't work for them. So this is a collective effort, and we need you to be part of this understanding. So we're inviting you back every single week to join in our conversations to make sure that not only you have the information, but also those youth that we're already educating. I'm already educating youth. Gina already educating youth. Antonio are equally educating youth. And we want to make sure that this conversation does not just stop here. We want to make sure that this conversation continues. After you view this, we expect you to go out and share it with others in your community. After you've had the opportunity, we invite you to come back time and time again. We invite you to get comfortable with Soul City Network. Make it part of your Tuesdays. Make it part of your Thursdays. And if there's other content that you enjoy and love, we'll make that part of your understanding as well. But come back to these valued programs that are making sure that our communities of color have what they need. Now, I know Antonio had to depart. My apologies for not being able to send my brother off in a proper understanding, but Antonio is my brother from another mother, and he knows that that love is always there. And I can't thank him enough for being part of and deciding to be a member of our Yonkers Young Entrepreneurs Board. And we appreciate him and look forward to bringing him back all the time into this program. Gene, you want to add something in before we have to depart here? Because you know how fast an hour goes.
Well, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in, and also thank Glover for inviting me to get the chance to take care of our youth in Yonkers, because I do see this is what they need. So I'm just glad everybody's on board, and I'm ready to roll. Let's hit these streets so we could get these things rolling, get these parents involved, and get these kids involved, because like the young lady said, it takes both. And we got to get them at the same time, because the parent ain't going to listen to the child ain't going to listen to the parent. So let's just get them both at the same time and give them the information that they need.
Amen. Thank you so much, Gene. Excellent. I appreciate everyone who decided to join. Again, my name is Tyrone Glover. I am the Just Down CEO of Leverage Credit Recovery. You can reach us here at 805. I'm going to give you my text and telephone number, 805-428-9424. Once again, that's 805-428-9424. Text me, call me, whatever you may need. You can reach us at our email address, which is leveragecreditrecovery@gmail.com. That is leveragecreditrecovery@gmail.com. And we're working on a new website. So that should be, actually, we're working on 3 new websites. So they should be up later on in this year. And again, I can't thank you enough. As I said when I began the show, I am humbled. I am grateful. I am thankful for this opportunity. And I'm going to continue to keep making sure that you get my best. The best of the best is yet to come. So thank you, everybody. And as always, as I end off the shows, I need to get in the next meeting. Yes, I'm looking forward to Javelle. Definitely. I'm going to be bringing in some of our young entrepreneurs to be in our next programs. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Have a great rest of your evening. Happy New Year. And as always, I end the shows with be safe, America.
Peace.
Good.